What's up, folks? In today's episode of Behind the Label, we have Vrinda, who is founder of the brand Mayuri Conscious Clothing. What makes Vrinda's journey remarkable is not just her designs, but her fearless approach to design itself. And mind you, she doesn't come from design background. While most brands in Jaipur were comfortable reproducing familiar silhouettes, those traditional Jaipuri prints, Vrinda boldly stepped into uncharted territory. She merged modern silhouettes and exquisite hand detailing in each of her garment. Her motto of conscious clothing goes even beyond natural fabrics. Her label has been supporting child health NGO ever since the beginning. In fact, recently she took another step in breaking the mold. While most people think of adding more clothing to their label, Vrinda added food to her fashion label. Yeah, you heard me. For the first time, a brand has brought an elaborate Indian street food menu to a clothing store. Again, not those regular cafe, but a street charts of India. She calls it Chart Bistro. Let's step into her journey of building her own fashion business.
So fashion's been a big part of my journey. I studied fashion, not many people know that, but I studied fashion merchandising at the London College of Fashion. So I am a graduate in fashion merchandising, not design, but yeah, the business part of it has been a part of my educational process. And the family I've got married into, the Agarwal family, is the entire business is textiles. So it is a very textile-related, textile-related family and journey which I've had for the past 25 years. Instinctive completely. I am not a design by profession. I do not know how to draw silhouettes and sketches and stuff. So me is more instinctive. I just know what my clients will like and want, and which is pretty much embodies my own personal style. So yeah, it's just completely more instinctive. So I've been moving cities before living in Jaipur. Jaipur is where my fashion journey really started. I lived in Chennai for 10 years, and that was more entrepreneurial journeys of different angles happening. When I moved to Jaipur, that was 15 years ago, I just felt a dearth. Before that, I was brought up in Mumbai. So, I was from Mumbai to Chennai to Jaipur has been my journey. And I just felt there was a dearth of anything related to fashion or designer stores, so to speak, which I was used to visiting either in Mumbai or Chennai. So my first attempt here was to bring fashion to Jaipur, and my first attempt was Mirangi, Jaipur's only couture destination, where we bought, it was a 3,000 square feet store right in the heart at Sea Scheme, and we bought all the top-end designers across the country at that time to Jaipur. So be it like a Sabyasachi, a Manish Malhotra, an Amika Khanna, a Manish Arora, we stocked everybody at the store. I ran that successfully for 10 years. And due to my personal reasons, I had to, kind of close the store. But simultaneously, it was not doing, I learned the business of retail and fashion. And a lot of times I felt that the designers are making what they want to give, but that's not really which fits into a couple of things: the Indian bodies, the sensibilities of, the average Indian woman who is aspirational but is trying to fit into a designer rather than, I don't know. I felt that there is something missing. Sizing was a big issue. They only made for models and very thin sizes, which most of us are not. So I think my business of fashion started with that. And I wanted to fill the gap. I felt that there was a gap of women like me who, didn't mind paying a price for a certain good, well-designed and fashion garment. But again, it's something which I want to wear daily wear. So there was not something in between available, and I wanted to fill the gap. Being comfortable in what you wear, first of all, you don't have to follow a trend. If you like somebody, have the confidence, having a smile on your face with whatever you wear and walking upright, straight is according to me, wearing crisp, ironed, well tailored, good quality clothes, according to me, is fashion. So consciousness for me is a lot of things. It's just not sustainability, which is one of the many aspects of the consciousness of the Mayuri Conscious Clothing brand. The first one being conscious of what my client wants. So I feel that most brands just dish out what they want to show. But here I'm very conscious as a consumer. I'm the biggest consumer of my own products, and friends and family are. So I'm very conscious of what they want and what is their need. So one of the main aspects being India is that we need cotton clothing. We cannot be wearing mixed fabrics, polyesters, rayons. We can't be wearing that in our daily lives. We need water to run through our clothes. So all our clothes are 100% cotton and are washed at home. We pride ourselves in our garments being take a wash really well. So one of my main aspects when we started Mayuri was that the clothes need to be washable. So that's what we're conscious about that. The other sustainable aspect has been that it's 100% again biodegradable, it's cotton. We steer clear of using any plastic in the supply chain or the processing or the stocking of the garment. So we're completely a zero single-use plastic brand, which we've been from day one. Another conscious angle of the brand was a You Buy One, We Give One initiative. For every garment we sell, we donate reusable sanitary napkins in rural Rajasthan. So that's been the consciousness of the brand. So hence, conscious clothing, again, not meaning just one aspect, many put together. So tightly controlled with me was costings.
Okay.
One was costings, and also, like I said, initially we came from a textile family. So being production was something which most brands I feel struggle with. For us, production relatively happened easier because we had the entire export backing and setup, and I could deliver at really good competitive prices, being a newer player in the market, because I got the back-end support of the entire export. And we got exposed to different fabrics, different techniques very quickly in the business, so it was very easy in that sense for me. The challenge definitely was a bit of the marketing, but that also we kind of I think the main challenge has come after COVID. The entire dynamics of the market and online has changed, and a lot of stuff is the marketing aspects have changed. All that has changed. So I think the major challenge for me, yes, from day one, to answer your question back, we were profitable, and we're not a funded company, and we're profitable, and we look at the bottom line very, very closely. It's not just burn money and stuff like that. So we are very conscious about that, and me personally look into that. So I think post-COVID, the challenges have been running stores, really to get footfalls to the store, because I think this whole online boom of people wearing has shot up a lot, and to keep up with that and to create content and to create continuously new content and to think like I'm competing with way younger people, players than me, to keep up with content creation is one of the premier challenges for me, I feel. The rest is pretty much, design happens. It's work in progress all the time. So design comes pretty easily and ideas come pretty easily to us to do and execute. Sometimes, yes, execution also of a particular, but I think that's the part and parcel of every business. I feel I'm comfortable more with the offline where, I feel that clothing, the business of clothing, there's a lot of touch and feel. There's a lot of drape. You need to wear the fabric. You need to really wear the garment to really feel yourself in it and how you feel. Yes, you connect. So I connect with offline customers really well. Online, like I said, I struggle a little bit to do that. But that's the biggest, and driving footfalls. So I'm very, very inspired by Japan. I travel very frequently. So I'm very inspired, and you will see a lot of the Japanese sensibilities of drape, of quality, of silhouettes in our garments, which are generally a little more loose-fitted. Some of the key pillars of design we follow are non-transparent garments, loosely fitted, a little bit loosely fitted. If somebody wants it tight-fitted, we are happy to help them and, alter it for them. So there are a couple of pillars that has to be cotton. It has to be a sustainable, breathable fabric, which is biodegradable. Some hand technique in all our garments, whether it's going to be a fine detail or it's going to be the print itself is hand technique. So some of the pillars which we kind of make sure every garment has. So that is the ethos of the design sensibility which we follow. I think a lot of it has changed. Earlier, we started off with really being this kurta, Jaipur kurta brand with Japanese sensibilities of design. We had a couple of Japanese designers on board, so who did the textile printing for us initially. And now I feel that the whole, the kurta is really now on its way out in a lot of ways, unless it's like really peak summer and wash. Western wear has creeped in, even with the older women. That is the shift I've seen post-COVID. So we're doing a lot of cotton is something which is the bread and butter of the store, but we do a lot of poplin. We started with, which is again a version of cotton. We use a lot of chambray, which is again a cotton version, a denim cotton version. We've started using denims. We started using a lot of modal and viscose, which are again breathable, natural fiber. So we generally play around with these. So any blends of viscose, modal, tencel is something we're exploring right now. Linen is something we've made our first collection with, and in summer you'll see a lot more linen coming your way from us. So again, the same family, but using more and more natural fabrics. We are pretty transparent with our disclosure. In fact, they are the only 2-3 fabrics we deal with. So we are pretty transparent on, but that awareness is not there. And I wish it comes, because a lot of the brands and a lot of other players are using all sorts of polyesters and other fabrics and dumping it, and everything is a price game now. So I feel, and especially the online ones. So I sometimes, it's not what you see is what you get. So there are a few in Japan, which I really like. There is a designer called Yako Marikan, whom I'm really inspired by. Does very simple, classic silhouettes. Bringing out the crafts, obviously Sabyasachi is a major inspiration to anybody in fashion. Like I told you, I have not studied fashion design per se. More fashion, the business of fashion is my forte. But I do employ a lot of fashion designers. And sometimes I feel that the only thing is that, make clothes which are realistic, sellable, is something which, when they come out of fashion school, they come up with very harebrained ideas, some of them. And, it's not a project which you're kind of trying to, this creativity to a certain extent in the business works. So you have to learn to have costings, there is something which they don't really know is costings. So costings is something you have to be really careful on.
Yeah.
Quad sets.
Second answer.
Yeah, they look like night suits to me, honestly.